To the dreamer who has yet to take action, one day you'll wake up and realize you either built your dream or let it die. Do you ever wonder how different your life could be if you actually went after what you wanted? Why do we have dreams if we can't actually achieve them? Do the restless nights, aimless wandering, and despair all lead to anything? Constant echoes of what could be, rattling in our minds and piercing our hearts. We don't want to feel sorry for ourselves, but here we are, stuck in this pit, licking our own wounds. When does the day get better? When do we find the missing link? At what point does the stone become a diamond? Is there truly no place for us to shine our light? Dreams can be liberating, but they can also be suffocating. In the hands of the brave, they are like treasures. However, for the anxious, they are like a whispered curse. Yet even with the fear, we find ourselves unable to let them go. They are the spark that ignites our passions, but also the weight that pulls us down. It's not the dream itself that drains our energy, but rather the endless overthinking, anxiousness, and self-doubt. We often hear that the process to overcome these is simple. Simply discard them and start. Yes, if it were that simple, then there wouldn't be a necessity for courses, books, and therapy sessions. But surely, there has to be a simpler way to recalibrate the mind and restore self-belief, confidence, and trust. For me, there was. As far back as I remember, I've always had big dreams. I dreamt about being a hero, being a healer, and having an abundance of friends. At the time, to me, the journey was just as fun as achieving the dream. I would immerse myself in crafting plans, establishing milestones, and fantasizing about the future and how I would act after having achieved all of my dreams. To the younger me, failure was a foreign concept. It didn't even cross my mind. I firmly believed that I would eventually achieve all of my dreams. However, as I matured and learnt about setting realistic expectations, I let go of my dreams because I began to feel anxious about the possibility of failure. The fear of failure caused me to doubt my abilities, become absorbed in anxiety, and lose trust in myself. The more I questioned my abilities, the more I perceived others as being better than me. And soon I was full of excuses and reasons as to why I shouldn't pursue my dreams. On the days where I could cast aside doubt, I would start working towards what I truly wanted. But those days quickly faded due to the absence of results for the effort I was putting in. You see, my mind captured my heart, and in turn my heart stopped my body from moving. I felt a mix of frustration and overwhelm by the amount of effort I was investing. I hated the process, but I mostly hated myself for not being able to grasp the fundamentals as easily as I had anticipated. I hated myself for not working harder, even though I was nearly at the brink of exhaustion. I hated myself for not being where I wanted to be as quickly as I wanted. So I gave up. I lost all confidence and trust I had in myself. Dreams don't work unless you do. It's time to start. I've decided once again, to chase my dreams. Now I'll prefix this and say that I haven't yet gotten rid of my anxiousness, nor have I completely rid myself of self-doubt. Rather, I have found a method to minimize the effects in my life, and it began with self-compassion. After reflecting on my failed attempts, I found that I was rather mean to myself. My eagerness to succeed left me with little space to breathe or grow. Sound familiar? Growth isn't linear. There will be fluctuations and regressions. Of course, this is hard to accept when you hold yourself to such high standards. But being open here is essential. It allows you to accept your imperfections and recognize that it is okay to make mistakes. It also stops you from comparing yourself to other people you feel are better. Self-compassion helps you to follow your own journey at your own pace. And as you practice self-compassion, you overcome your fear of failure and reduce your anxiety around it. You don't have to know every step. Just take the first one. The second thing was to break things down into micro tasks. Now I know that can sound daunting at first, but let me break it down for you. Say your dream is to be a poet. Rather than thinking about how you're going to make it big time immediately, focus on foundationally bite-sized tasks. This could be analyzing a poem that you like, reading poetry more regularly, or even carrying a notebook to write down your observation, thoughts, or ideas. Alleviating the pressure to get everything done in a minimal amount of time will help you focus on the aspects that truly inspire you. Then you'll be able to find greater joy in the journey because you'll be creating out of a place of inspiration rather than force. Stop making your desires into such a lofty dream. The reason you feel paralyzed by inaction is that your dream seems so distant from who you currently are. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't have wild, big, daring dreams. However, if you are a person who frequently struggles with self-doubt and lacks self-confidence, then pursuing huge dreams will be counterproductive. To install self-belief, you have to be able to trust yourself. Once trust is shattered, it is then rebuilt gradually. In simpler terms, if you lack self-belief and you set a huge dream for yourself and fail to achieve it or lose momentum, then you'll distrust your ability to achieve future goals or dreams, no matter how small they may be. By fulfilling smaller desires and goals, you can expand on your dreams as you progress. Your smaller achievements will stack up like building blocks, each one increasing your self-belief as you progress on your journey. Then you'll have confidence in your ability to reach bigger aspirations. Like a snowball rolling down the hill, gathering momentum and size with each turn. To the dreamer who has yet to take action, remember, you're not chasing a dream, you are merely wandering down a fresh path. The outcome of following that path may be uncertain, but the exciting part should be the journey itself. For it is where you find out about yourself. It is the people you meet along the way. It is overcoming the challenges and showing up for yourself. The path may even lead you beyond your original dream, but you will never know if you do not take that first step. And I will leave you with a quote from James Allen. The greatest achievement was at first for a time a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn, the bird wakes in the egg, And in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. The question is, will you go after yours?